Hello, and a genuine warm welcome to you, my curious friend. Settle into a quiet place, close your eyes for just a moment, and allow yourself to be transported. You are here, not just to learn grammar, but to learn the language of genius, the language of curiosity and perseverance. Today, we dive into the incredible, challenging, and deeply human story of Albert Einstein, a man who redefined the universe but struggled simply to speak. I promise this listening practice will be different. We will use the cinematic narrative of his life to teach you English vocabulary related to struggle, potential, and breakthrough. As you listen, pay special attention to the bolded words, absorbing their meaning naturally within the context of his quiet, powerful journey. Let his story inspire your own pursuit of knowledge. Remember this truth: the capacity to learn is a divine gift. The willingness to fail is the key to unlocking it. Tell me, what part of the world are you sharing this moment with me from, and what time is it there? Share it in the comments below. Transition in the next few minutes. You will gain more than listening practice. You will naturally absorb essential vocabulary related to education, childhood, and intellectual struggle. You will sharpen your listening comprehension. And most importantly, you will receive a powerful life lesson about defying external expectations and embracing your unique pace of learning. Storytelling begins. Our scene opens in the quiet, historic town of Ulm, Germany, in 1879. The year feels heavy with traditional expectation. The air is still, but inside the home of the Einstein family, there is a subtle tension. We meet the young Albert, a child who was markedly different. He was not the typical chatterbox toddler. In fact, Albert did not speak his first clear sentence until he was almost 5 years old. To his parents and his early tutors, this delay was a serious concern. This slowness in his early development made his teachers and family fear he might be academically challenged, meaning having difficulty with school subjects. His language development was so far behind his peers that one school headmaster reportedly told his father, "It doesn't matter what he becomes, he will never achieve anything significant." Imagine the crushing weight of that verdict, a formal judgment or opinion delivered upon a child. However, young Albert was not slow. He was simply preoccupied. His world was one of intense silent observation. While other children played with toys, Albert was fascinated by the invisible forces that governed the world. His father, Hermann, once gave him a simple compass and instrument showing direction. The sight of the needle, always pointing north due to an unseen force, filled Albert with a sense of profound, very great, or intense wonder. This simple experience was a pivotal moment that ignited his lifelong curiosity about magnetism and the cosmos. He struggled terribly with the rigid German school system. He found the rote memorization of history and languages to be tedious, too long, slow, or dull. The structure felt like a cage that stifled his independent thought. He often clashed with his teachers, who demanded strict obedience. His mind was built for questioning, for hypothesis, a proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence, and for deduction, the process of reaching a logical conclusion. The school system was built for conformity. He excelled only in mathematics and physics, subjects where the rules were logical and eternal. His teachers, frustrated by his rebellious nature and his difficulty with structured learning, labeled him a dreamer and a poor student. This constant negative feedback began to erode his confidence, but it never killed his inner spark, the deep, unwavering, not-changing desire to understand the universe. He learned early that external voices of doubt must always be measured against the internal conviction of one's own truth. He learned that true learning is about interrogation, not simply ingestion. Albert's early life was a continuous study in setbacks. The negative labels from his childhood carried through to his attempts at higher education. When he was 16, he tried to enter the prestigious Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich, known as the ETH. He failed the entrance examination, specifically struggling with the general section, which included French and other non-science subjects. This failure was a sharp public rebuke, an expression of sharp disapproval. Instead of succumbing to despair, this failure became a source of fierce determination. He enrolled in a lower school for a year, not to learn more history, but to re-evaluate, meaning to assess again, perhaps with a new perspective, his entire learning strategy. He recognized that to pursue his physics passion, he had to show minimal competence, the ability to do something successfully in the areas he disliked. He finally entered the ETH a year later, but even there, his unconventional, not conforming to what is generally accepted, methods continued to cause friction. He often skipped lectures, he found redundant no longer needed or useful, and chose instead to study complex physics on his own. He was driven by intuition and curiosity, not by the syllabus. This led to conflict with one of his most important professors, who grew to dislike Albert's arrogance and insubordination, defiance of authority. His relationship with the academic establishment was so strained that after he graduated, he struggled for years to find an academic post. No professor would recommend him. The scientific world, rigid and formal, viewed him as a nonconformist, a brilliant but unruly mind that didn't fit the mold. For 2 years, he accepted temporary teaching positions, always knowing this was a detour, a deviation from a direct course from his true path. His greatest breakthrough came while working at a job that seemed completely unrelated to his genius, a Swiss patent office. This job was a true act of fortitude, courage in pain or adversity. He was tasked with analyzing and approving the patent applications of other inventors. This work, though seemingly dull, provided him with 2 crucial elements: financial stability and mental freedom. The tasks were simple enough that his mind could wander. He would spend his spare time, often late at night, wrestling with the most complex, fundamental questions of the universe, the speed of light, and the nature of time itself. It was during this period of quiet, isolated work, a period most would consider a failure of his academic career, that he performed his most seminal, strongly influencing later developments work. He wasn't constrained by university protocols or peer review. He was truly free to think, to question the status quo, the existing state of affairs. This job, which was supposed to be a temporary solution, became the unlikely crucible, a severe test or trial for his greatest discoveries. He realized that sometimes the greatest leaps forward happen when you are perceived to be standing still. The year 1905 is known to historians as Einstein's Annus Mirabilis, his miracle year. From his humble desk at the patent office, this seemingly ordinary clerk published 4 groundbreaking, innovative, and revolutionary scientific papers. These papers addressed some of the most profound problems in physics, challenging centuries of scientific thought. They covered the photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, and most famously, the special theory of relativity, introducing the most iconic equation in human history. This one equation was the ultimate act of simplicity emerging from the deepest complexity. It stated a radical idea: energy $E dollar and mass $M dollar are simply two forms of the same thing. The world of physics was utterly transformed. The label of slow learner was replaced by genius. However, even after this extraordinary scientific achievement, the recognition was not immediate. He faced years of initial skepticism, doubt about the truth of something, but his confidence, forged in years of solitary deduction, was unshakable. He never wavered from his conclusions, because they were based on unassailable, cannot be attacked or questioned logic. Albert Einstein's journey is not a story of effortless genius. It is a story of relentless, persistent, and intense curiosity and self-belief. He taught us that the greatest minds often develop at their own unique pace. His famous struggles with language and rote learning proved that standardized tests are not a true measure of human potential. He eventually achieved immense fame, but he never lost his early humility or his sense of wonder. He became the global emissary, a representative for science and peace, using his voice, which was once slow to form words, to speak to millions. His life is a testament, proof or evidence to the power of focusing on your unique strengths, ignoring the negative verdicts of others, and always questioning the universe. The motivational takeaway is this: do not let the speed of your English learning dictate the value of your potential. If you feel like your progress is slow, remember Albert Einstein, the child who didn't speak until he was 5. Focus on what truly fascinates you. Be persistent, be curious, and always challenge the status quo. The world needs your unique perspective, and your voice will emerge when your conviction is strong enough. Use his story as your inspiration to pursue your learning with unwavering commitment. Thank you for joining me on this profound journey through the life of a true genius. If Einstein's story has inspired your own pursuit of knowledge, and you want to continue learning English through cinematic narratives, please subscribe to the channel right now. Don't miss the next inspiring lesson. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep shining.